What would you do if the woman you love tried to poison you just to take your money? What if you survived, but lost your voice, and the whole world thought you were dead? This is the unbelievable story of Daniel, a rich man who lost everything, met a kind stranger, and discovered who truly cared for him. Stay with me. This story will shock you until the very last second. Daniel was the owner of a huge company. He trusted his girlfriend Mira more than anyone else. But Mira had a dark, twisted plan. One night, she brought him dinner with a smile on her face. He had no idea that she had put poison in his food. Moments later, Daniel collapsed. Mira didn't call for help. She just stood there and waited, thinking he would die so she could take over his company and all his properties. But she made one critical mistake. Daniel didn't die. He only lost his voice. He woke up weak, shaking, and completely unable to talk. Afraid and confused, he managed to escape from the house just before Mira returned. Meanwhile, Daniel's manager and his workers searched for him everywhere. The news spread like wildfire. The boss is missing. Mira put on a show, pretending to be heartbroken, but deep down, she was celebrating. She walked into the company board meeting and announced, "Since Daniel is missing, I will take over," but the board didn't trust her. So, the manager made a huge public announcement: anyone who finds Daniel in the next 24 hours will receive a massive reward. They were desperate to stop Mira from seizing control of the company. Of course, Mira panicked. She had only one night left before she could take full control. So she sent her own people into the city, not to find Daniel and bring him back safely, but to find him and finish him for good. Daniel had no voice, no money, no phone, nothing. He wandered the streets like a ghost in his own city. That night, exhausted and weak, Daniel fainted beside an old, run-down hostel. A young lady named Lena found him lying on the ground. She had no idea who he was. Lena's life wasn't easy. Her mom had passed away years ago, and her father remarried a woman who hated her. But despite her own struggles, Lena still had a kind and compassionate heart. She helped Daniel up. "Sir, are you okay? Can you hear me?" she asked gently. He nodded, but still couldn't speak. Lena carefully helped him inside the hostel, a place she helped her father manage. She cleaned his wounds, made him warm food, and gave him her brother's old clothes to wear. She asked for his name, but he could only point to his throat, shaking his head. "Oh, you can't talk," she said softly. "It's okay. You're safe here." She even convinced her father to give him a job, so Daniel started working as a cleaner in the hostel. Even with no voice, he worked harder than anyone. Everyone there liked him, except for Lena's stepmother, Rosa, who seemed to be angry at the world. Rosa treated Lena terribly. She refused to cook for her own sick husband. She wouldn't help him at all. She only cared about herself. Every single day, Lena took care of her sick father completely on her own. Daniel watched all of this quietly, feeling an overwhelming sense of gratitude for Lena's kindness to him, a complete stranger. Rosie even tried to throw Daniel out onto the street, but Lena bravely stood up to her. "He stays. He is helping here," she declared. Daniel wished with all his heart that he had a voice just so he could thank her. Meanwhile, the city was in chaos. Daniel's manager stayed awake all night, leading the frantic search. Mira was also searching, but for the most sinister reason. She wanted him dead so she could finally take over everything. Posters of Daniel's face were plastered on every street corner. The huge reward was announced on every news channel and social media platform. But nobody recognized the silent, humble man working as a cleaner in a small, forgotten hostel. One morning, the situation took a turn for the worse. Lena's father suddenly collapsed. Rosa refused to help. "He's not my problem," she screamed. "I only married him, not his sickness." Lena cried, completely helpless, not knowing what to do. Daniel saw everything and wished he could call for help, but he still had no voice. So, He did the only thing he could. He rushed out into the street, waving his hands frantically, trying to get anyone's attention. A neighbor saw his desperation and helped call a doctor. Lina's father was saved, just in time. For the first time, Lina hugged Daniel tightly. "You may not be able to talk," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "But you have the biggest heart of anyone I know." Daniel just smiled gently. That night, something incredible happened. Daniel was resting when he started to cough, and a small, raspy sound came out. For the first time since the poisoning, he whispered a single word, "Lina." He practiced all night, slowly, painstakingly regaining small pieces of his voice. He knew what he had to do. He had to call his manager before Mira took over the company for good. With his weak, fragile voice, Daniel asked Lina if he could borrow her phone. She was shocked to hear him speak but gave it to him immediately without a second thought. He dialed his manager's number. The manager answered, "Hello. Who is this?" Daniel whispered into the phone, "It's me, Daniel." There was a long pause on the other end. The manager was frozen. "Sir, we have been looking everywhere for you. Are you safe? Are you hurt?" Daniel gave him the hostel's address. Within minutes, company security arrived and surrounded the entire building to protect him. Lina stood there, completely stunned. You're rich?" she asked, bewildered. Daniel just nodded. She hadn't helped him because of money. She helped him because of her own pure kindness. Daniel's manager rushed in and hugged him, relieved to see him alive. Then, Mira arrived, forced to come along by the security team. When she saw Daniel standing there, alive and well, her face went pale with shock. He pointed a finger straight at her and said, his voice now stronger and clearer, "She tried to kill me." Security immediately arrested Mira and her entire team. Daniel then turned to Lina. "You saved my life when I had nothing," he said. "You saw me as a person, not as money." He arranged for Lina's father to receive the best medical care, completely free of charge. He fired her wicked stepmother from the hostel. And he gave Lina a new, important position in his company. The story ended right where it began, but this time, Daniel wasn't alone. He had someone real and true beside him. Sometimes, losing everything is the only way to learn who truly cares about you. And sometimes, the people we meet in our darkest moments become our brightest light. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.